Yeah, if you look at some of the videos that, and I haven't recorded, but I mean, haven't recorded them just yet, but I got this one on this robot that just blows my mind. He has a couple of conveyor belts, and he makes a robot that grabs a box, and I mean, this thing, especially when you enter this, and he wasn't even using this, by the way. And I was kind of asking myself, why doesn't he know about it? Maybe he doesn't have it because it is a, an advanced simulation thing. So he probably could have done that easier with this, but still, it's just fascinating what all this program can do, because this motion study thing, and by the way, you can create new motion studies, so you can have several motion studies in here. I don't know what a design study is, but the thing is that with the motors and the dampers, we didn't even put a damper in. We're kind of using that spring as sort of a damper. You got contact mates, gravity, which we've used. Those are the basic types in here. I don't know what an animation wizard is. Because I just finished that series from those one guys, and boy, I tell you, he really didn't cover much, honestly. Like I said, I still don't know what most of this shit is. Filter animated, so I don't know what these are all about. And I do know, that sensors come into play when you're using this event driven, because you can use sensors as events. So like when a box drops into the range of a sensor, it can actually trigger, another set of motion. It makes a Gantt chart over here, so you can kind of see how everything's arranged. And it still relates to this assembly type, so you're still dealing with both. It's just these are two alternate views. But you can more easily schedule things in here. But yeah, this is including with this view orientation thing and so forth. I mean, that's not necessarily necessary to suppress it. But yeah, so I mean, right now it's kind of suppressing, our zooming around, so it's not making keyframes for that, but you can enable that to where you can actually rotate your view and everything, and we'll get into that, I guess, in the animation section. Yeah, it just sucks not to have some of the models they have to work with, because it's just too big of a pain in the ass. But what this guy covers too in one of the earlier videos, on when he's covering the mates, it's in the mates video, in that, because I know we covered mates before, and that other guy talked about certain aspects, but this guy, in the solid SW kinematics and animation folder, also have this new guy talking about mates. And like I said, some of the things he talks about in those distance mates and so forth make sense now. I understand what the point of distance mates is. It's really cool if you want to create a multi-sliding drawer assembly and put stops in it and stuff like that. So I mean, and the advantage is that even though SolidWorks can calculate a lot of this shit, it's a lot faster if you use some of these mate types to do it. Because like mechanical mates and advanced mates, but and even angular mates. There's an advanced mates. I think there's an advanced angular mate. Right here. Let's see, linear coupler. This is an advanced angular mate, but you can put stops in to limit the motion. Like you can simulate a hinge without doing the simulation, of it. So it's a lot faster, for it to just use these types of mates here than for it to kind of calculate collisions and all that shit on its own. Because you saw how jerky that was, especially on this computer. But that's where this kind of stuff comes in handy, but you can use the dynamics simulation, to evaluate what the range limits on those mates should be, so that they're more realistic, and he was using the example of a hinge, and calculating it from the basic value to the actual collision value, and then he went back and just added that value to his mate over here, and so he didn't have to go simulate it dynamically. So, but yeah, so you don't have to go into like interference detection and you know, and leave that on all the time. You know what I mean, or whatever. So I mean, still don't know anything about stupid smart fasteners. I mean, I've still got to find a video on that somewhere. Here's calculate new motion study, by the way. But still, this program, this part of it, like I suspected, it's like the sixth major module, on this thing, because it's just, again, SolidWorks has done a really good job of hiding the complexity in it, like everything else, because there really is a lot of complexity to this thing, and what it can do. It's, pretty mind-blowing. Like I said, it looks simple enough, but so I guess you can filter some of these out. Anyway, I still don't know about these filters. I'm too afraid to use them. Probably fuck something up and the undo key doesn't work. So, but I wanted to make note that event-based simulation, I think, pretty much usually works with motors. And again, motors get very elaborate because you can have constant speed motors, servo motors, acceleration, displacement, etc. You can have oscillating motors and linear. I'm pretty sure you can have linear motors right up here, actuators. So I mean, there's just a lot of different options. You can get really sophisticated. But unfortunately, I just don't really have a lot of good models to play with. I mean, I do in those model things that I downloaded, and probably some of the SolidWorks tutor models too. I mean, I could probably use some of those, but I just really don't have a lot of kind of good motors to use. I could use that little linkage thing that I created, but it didn't really do much. Like this guy in this one, this video on, this British guy in this video on event-based motion, is actually animating a backhoe tractor, an excavator. So I wish he would have done the box thing that he showed at first, because that was really cool what that did. But he did do this other thing at the end of his video, which was really cool too, that involved a couple of motors and the sensors, is what he showed. So, but man, there's so many fucking videos out there on this. It's just unbelievable. I'm not surprised given how complex it is, but anyway.